Testing, 1, 2. Testing. Is it on? Is it on? Testing, 1, 2. 1, 2. Boo, boo, boo. Tsutsu. Tsutsu. 1, 2. 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Madam Deputy Speaker.
There will now be a moment of silence for prayer or meditation. Please be seated. Honourable members, order members, honourable members, please take your seats. The first item on the order paper is a motion in the name of the Chief Whip. The Honourable Chief Whip.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
But we are not a chief for you.
You got it.
Honourable Mkalipi, that was uncalled for. You were not recognised to speak. Please proceed.
Move that the House, notwithstanding Rule 47, Sub-Rule 1, which provides for the sequence of proceedings, resolves that orders number 1 to 5 be taken before member statements today. Thank you very much.
I now put the motion. Are there any objections? No objections. It is thus agreed to. The Secretary will read the first order.
Consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements on Oversight visit to informal settlement in Stellenbosch and Strand.
The Honourable A.M. Siabi.
Honourable Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, honourable members, informal settlements in the Western Cape are faced with significant challenges. This includes lack of access to basic services like water, sanitation, electricity, overcrowding, poor living conditions, vulnerability to environmental hazards, social stigma, limited access to health care, and insecurity of tenure. This is often due to the illegal occupation of land and or illegal land invasion, leading to a cycle of poverty.
Honourable Siabi, please take your seat. There is a point of order. Honourable Mani, on what point do you rise?
Speaker, Deputy Speaker, can you ask the IT people to look into the sound issue? We can't hear. There's just too much echo. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Mani. We will ask the technical.
Community through their activist, Ms. N. van der Kevel. She raised concerns about the inhuman living conditions of residents in Mountain View Squatter Camp in Germiston. The Portfolio Committee in the 6th Parliament did visit the area on 24 November 2023. However, following concerns raised on the 20th of November 2024, the Stellenbosch local municipality was invited to present a progress report on the areas of concern. Based on the report, the committee resolved to follow up on the gift settlement, Town in Clutterville, and Kayamnandi Hostel. This visit took place on the 4th of December 2024. The committee also responded to the complaints received from Mr. S. Haga and others about the stalled Mastendane pupil housing program in Luandle, Strand, City of Cape Town. Findings emanating from the oversight visit were as follows. In GIF informal settlements, the settlement is situated on privately owned land. This prompted the municipality to initiate a land transfer process from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, which has been ongoing for several years. Town, Clutterville, the residents were due for relocation to identified areas with qualifying residents integrated into the Northern Extension and Social Housing Project. However, the project has no decanting site for the communities. In Kayamnandi Hostel, which is about asbestos removal, the challenge in the hostel includes structures that are severely dilapidated and unfit for human habitation. They have holes in walls, openings in the asbestos roof sheets, broken windows with some water flooding inside the building when it rains. The committee's recommendations are as follows: that in GIF informal settlement, the National Department of Human Settlement was tasked to intervene and assist the province and the Stellenbosch municipality with the release of land in Lamonde, and to provide temporary residential units once the land has been identified and unveiled. Town informal settlement, the National Department of Human Settlement, working with the law enforcement agencies.
Please take your seat. There is a point raised by the Honourable Member of the MK. Please.
Madam Speaker, there is no sound. We cannot hear him clear. Fix your sound.
We've already said that we will ask the technicians to look into the sound, but at this point, the speaker is quite clear from where I am sitting. Honourable Kalipi.
Speaker, we also struggling to hear you as members here. Can the issue of the sound be attended very urgently, please?
I am asking them. We can hear you quite clearly, so that is at least something. Yes, Honourable Member, ANC.
Yeah, Chair. Honourable Deputy Speaker, we propose that we take a 10-minute break so that they can fix the sound. Because clearly we struggle to hear the speaker on the podium.
Honourable Members, yes, Honourable Member of the MK.
No, we are seconding the motion that is registered by the ANC, Honourable Speaker, to adjourn for 10 minutes, then the problem of audibility is fixed, then we can come back.
Because we're not here. We're not here.
Honourable Members, it is very important that we do fix the sound, so we will adjourn for 10 minutes. So the sitting is suspended for 10 minutes for us to fix the sound. Thank you.
1.
Testing mic 1 2 2 1 2 1 2.
Hey, yeah. Hey, 1 2, yeah. 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 9 and 10. Hey, 1 2, ladies and gentlemen. 1 and 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 9 and 10. All right, testing lectern microphone 1 and 2. Hey, yeah.
Test 1 2. Mic this 1 2 2 1 2. Way too low. Yeah, yeah.
Approved.
All right, here we go again. Testing 1 and 2, 3, 4.
informal settlement in Penil, Stellenbosch, and informal settlement in Franschhoek. The Portfolio Committee in the 6th Parliament did visit the area on the 24th November 2023. However, following concerns raised on the 20th November 2024, the Stellenbosch local municipality was invited to present a progress report on the areas of concern. Based on the report, the committee resolved to follow up on the gift settlement, Sleptown, Incluseville, and Kayamnandi Hostel. This visit took place on the 4th of December 2024. The committee also responded to the complaints received from Mr. S. Haka and others about the stalled Masnendane Pupils Housing Program in Water and Strand, City of Cape Town. As per the committee's findings, if informal settlement is situated on privately owned land, this prompted the municipality to initiate a land transfer process from the Department of Public Works. Sleptown, the residents were due for relocation to identified areas. Kayamnandi Hostel, the challenge in the hostel includes structures that are severely dilapidated and unfit for human settlement. They have holes in walls, openings in the asbestos roof sheets, broken windows, with stormwater flooding inside the house when it rains. Masnendane stalled People's Housing Program commenced in 2014, and out of 14 people that were approved to be allocated, only 16 benefited. The committee's recommendations in GIF informal settlement is that the National Department of Human Settlement be tasked to intervene and assist the province and the Stellenbosch municipality with the release of land in Lamonde. With regard to Sleptown informal settlement, the National Department of Human Settlement, working with the law enforcement agencies, was tasked to intervene and assist the province and the Stellenbosch municipality. Kayamnandi hostels, the National Department to demolish 10 remaining hostels and prioritize asbestos removal and submit a progress report by June 2025. Masnendane People's Housing Program, the National Department of Housing Settlements is going to work with the Provincial Department of Western Cape, MEC and OCHD regarding the disbursement of units and implementation plan. In conclusion, Deputy Speaker, what this oversight visit tells us is that a multi-pronged approach that enables access to public infrastructure, finance, land, tenure, economic opportunities, and incremental housing opportunities through an innovative, people-centered and partnership-based approach is required in tackling challenges and building an integrated and sustainable human settlement. As a people-centered and people-driven parliament, we call upon government to continue delivering human settlements to our people using all the available programs and the redistributive mechanisms and thereby ensuring security of tenure. I so table the report. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I will now recognise political parties wishing to make a declaration. The usual times for declaration of votes will apply. The DA.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honourable members, the quest for dignity is a principle that must be fought for and always protected. This quest is only made possible when a government understands its role and has the necessary resources to protect human dignity. The Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements visited several sites in the Western Cape, including Stellenbosch and the city of Cape Town. Firstly, we want to welcome the DA-led Stellenbosch municipality in its steps to upgrade projects that aim to improve the living conditions in informal settlements through in-situ upgrades, relocation and infrastructure development. Notable projects include the Northern Extension Project, which is developing a temporary relocation area to enable the decanting and the de-densification of settlements such as Zone O, Watergang and Ekurhuleni. The Jamestown RIDP is set to accommodate Mountain View residents in the upcoming housing phases, while the La Rochelle project in Klapmat may expand and include beneficiaries from the Mandela City informal settlement. In Franschhoek, the Laggraag housing project is focused on relocating residents from hazardous conditions near a defunct dam. With severe installations on the ERF 3229 nearing completion, it is clear that the efforts of the DA-led Stellenbosch municipality are making headway in providing proactive land management. On our visit to Kayamandi, it drew our attention to a number of hostels who suffer from asbestos roofing, which is a great concern. But we want to welcome the province's approval of a 6 million rand amount to be spent within 2 financial years. 2.6 million has been approved through the adjustment budget for the demolishing and the rebuilding of the hostels. The project is scheduled to be completed over a period of 2 years. This oversight also highlights strongly that this House needs to consider the amendment of the PI Act, as illegal invasions have dire consequences on municipalities. The oversight in Slabtown indicates that the impact of land invasions. Across the country, we continue to see orchestrated and bad faith unlawful occupations of land which have pushed our municipalities and organs of state to states of crises. These occupations have direct effect in forcing municipalities to provide basic services to occupied spaces without having adequately provisioned increases in their budgets and their alterations in planning frameworks. These expenses being over and above those already having been incurred in order to safeguard land from unlawful occupation in the first instance. Besides the violation of constitutionally entrenched property rights, unlawful occupations, particularly those done in bad faith, lead to queue jumping for affordable housing, further dispossessing the most vulnerable people in our country. Other unlawful occupations, particularly those of public land, delay the completion of crucial public infrastructure projects at the expense of residents. For example, the 2020 occupation of land in Khayelitsha delayed a 162 million rand project to construct a water pipeline. The City of Cape Town has noted that between July 2020 and mid-May 2021, there were 1,177 attempted land invasions of state-owned land in the city alone, and that these invasions place immense financial and logistical burdens on all metropolitan municipalities. This is why the DA is bringing an amendment to the PI Act to ensure that we fight land invasions across our country that are obstructing service delivery in our municipalities. The DA in the main wants to commend the municipality of Stellenbosch and the City of Cape Town for moving quickly on returning dignity to the families that we visited on our oversight. The DA further urges the National Department to increase support to municipalities by ensuring a timeous release of land to those municipalities who rely on the National Department. We further ask that the National Department intervene and facilitate the release of land to decant people of Slabtown and ensure that our people continue to receive the dignity that is deserved. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
The MK.
Thanks, Deputy Speaker. We gather here today to reflect critically on the findings from our oversight visits to Stellenbosch and the City of Cape Town, particularly Lwandle Village. Our responsibility as the Committee on Human Settlement is not only to observe, but to ensure that our intervention translates into meaningful progress. This oversight visit was motivated by our constitutional obligation to monitor and evaluate human settlements, ensuring that every South African has access to adequate housing. Our site inspections, engagement with stakeholders, and assessment of service delivery have revealed significant gaps. Critical concern arising from our visit is lack of accountability among key role players, particularly within the ministry and relevant municipal bodies. The continued delays in project implementation, inefficient resource allocation, and lack of clear communication channels highlight systemic failures that cannot be ignored. Why is the Strand Block project being delayed despite existing budget and policies? Who is responsible for ensuring that timelines are met, and why has there been no consequence for non-performance? Funds allocated for housing projects must be utilized effectively. Where is the transparency in budget expenditure, and why are we seeing no are we seeing little to no improvement in informal settlements. Residents remain largely uninformed about project timelines, their rights, and expected outcomes. How do we bridge these communication gaps to restore trust between authorities and the communities? There must be stringent oversight of government officials and contractors responsible for project execution. Performance evaluation should have real consequences for underperformance. Housing challenges require multi-tiered government collaboration. Departments must align their efforts to prevent bottlenecks in service delivery. Affected residents should be active participants in decision-making processes. Town hall meetings, clear project timelines, and accessible grievance mechanisms are essential. The delays in informal housing delivery perpetuate socio-economic disparities. Expedited and transparent processes must be implemented to ensure timely project completion. Regular financial and operational audits should be conducted to track project efficiency and curb corruption or mismanagement. It is deeply concerning that the successive administration, including former ruling party and the Democratic Alliance, have failed to demonstrate the necessary urgency and accountability in addressing this housing crisis. Despite numerous commitments and allocated resources, the completion of only 16 out of 40 houses stands as a stark indictment of ineffective governance and poor project execution. Furthermore, the so-called DA-ANC coalition, now operating under the guise of Government of National Unity, has served to exacerbate these inefficiencies. Where are the promised 1 million houses for our people? Isn't this a violation of the Freedom Charter fundamental principles, that there shall be houses, security, and comfort? All people shall have the right to live where they choose, be decently housed, and to bring their families in comfort and security. Rather than accelerating the delivery of housing and ensuring tangible progress, this political arrangement has fostered a climate of bureaucratic inertia, diluted accountability, and critical program objective to remain unfulfilled. Ngqongqoshe uyazi ukuthi sekuphela iminyaka eyishumi lapha kuleya ndawo ebesihambela kuye City of Cape Town nase Stellenbosch abantu bakhona fanele ngabe sebakhele izindlu eziwu-40 but till today kusakhiwe izindlu eziwu-16. I thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
The EFF.
President, Commander-in-Chief, Commissars, fighters, ground forces of the EFF, and let me take this time to wish the President of the EFF a happy belated birthday. Chairperson, the leadership of the government of the Western Cape and that of the municipality of Stellenbosch come from a grouping of people that views African people as less than human beings. And therefore, their approach to the plight of black people is determined by this attitude, meaning that there's nothing fundamentally groundbreaking with the governance of Western Cape. Look at the example of GIF informal settlements, which we visited during the oversight. The informal settlement has been in existence of the past 37 years. There are no services provided, and one of the excuses by the municipality is that this is so because of the settlement is on a privately owned property. For a whole 37 years, the municipalities wants to tell us that the property is privately owned and they cannot do anything on it. What of the legal mechanisms that the municipality has at its disposal, including the power to expropriate the land for the benefit of our people? The same goes for the condition of our people in Slabtown in Klitsville. There is simply no sense of urgency from the municipality and provincial government to deal with the plight of those whose right to home is denied by the socio-economic positioning in this country. The less said about Kayamnandi, the better. Originally built as a labor concentration camp for the farms around Stellenbosch, Kayamnandi has never managed to transcend the purpose for which it was built in the minds of those leading the province and the municipality. The inability to deal with the human settlements problems and all its attendant problems emanates from this inability to reimagine that Kayamnandi can exist as an area for human settlements and not just a labor concentration camp. The Stellenbosch municipality is doing all it can to maintain the racist, apartheid, spatial planning in the area. And without the intervention of national government, the plight of our people living in these informal settlements will never change. In Kayamnandi, for instance, it was determined that the structures there are severely dilapidated and unfit for human habitation. The structures have gaping holes in their walls, openings in asbestos roof sheets, broken windows, and experience stormwater flooding inside when it rains. Stormwater enters through gaping holes in walls and openings in asbestos roof sheets. The structures have no roof ceilings, and the asbestos roof sheets release fibers when disturbed, posing a serious threat to health risk if inhaled. This has persisted over a number of years. The EFF is encouraged by the resilience and the initiative taken by the communities of GIF, Slabtown, Kayamnandi, and Lwandle informal settlements, who have written endless petitions in pursuit of the rightful attention of the Portfolio Committee. Thank you.
The IFP.
Deputy Speaker, the IFP recognized the importance of Human Settlement Committee, which is mandated by the Constitution to process legislations and equally conduct oversight over the implementation of human settlement policies and programs within the responsibility sphere of government. Firstly, it is important to acknowledge the work of all civil society in raising awareness on the concern about the inhuman living condition of residents in various informal settlements. Furthermore, one must appreciate the various departments that form part of the visit. Secondly, the IP will monitor the tender to remove asbestos from hostel in Kayamnandi. This is due to the well-documented hazards of asbestos and the troubling pattern in recent history where service providers failed to complete the job yet still receiving compensations, leaving vulnerable citizens exposed to risk. The IP further welcomed the commitment for the department to revisit the area and verify that all 24 hostels have been demolished and rebuilt. In the short term, the IFP welcomed the recommendation that a report must be submitted by June of this year on the asbestos removal. Lastly, the IFP notes and welcomes the recommendation of the committee to develop a strategy to prevent land invasions, working with law enforcement agencies, and improve community engagement to address relocations. In considering of all these issues we have raised, the IFP does accept the report. I thank you.
Thank you. The next on the list is the PA.
No, taking out chair, no declaration, we support you.
Thank you. FF Plus.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I was shocked to read in
Honourable
this
member
report.
at the podium, please just take your seat. Honourable Reddy, on which point do you rise?
I rise on point Rule of Order 66, Madam Speaker, Acting Speaker or Deputy Speaker. Where is the Minister of Human Settlements? Is she in the House? Because if she is not, then it tells us whether these ministers take these issues seriously or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Reddy. You referred to Rule 66, which is a member not to be interrupted. Unfortunately, that is exactly what you have now done. So your point of order is irrelevant and not sustained, and please do not interrupt the speaker at the podium. Honourable Member, please proceed.
Deputy Speaker, I was shocked to read in a report that the community raised concerns about the inhuman living conditions of residents in the Mountain View
Honourable
squatter
Member, please
camp.
take your seat. The Honourable Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I think for information, Honorable Member, the Minister is currently in KZN, where there's floods, attending to those floods with the officials of the department.
What rule is this response, Madam Deputy
I'm here
Acting Speaker? What
to
rule?
attend.
Is this allowed in the House? Why are we not being consistent?
Honourable Reddy,
What rule is she rising on?
Honourable Reddy, I have not.
So we are here to respond to any question.
What rule is she rising on?
So people must not come here.
She's speaking.
Is going on to raise frivolous
She needs to be kicked out of this chamber.
You have just
She's
arrived.
unruly.
You are new.
She's unruly.
Give yourself
She's
time to
standing
learn.
up on a rule. What rule is she standing up on?
Honourable Reddy, Honourable Deputy Minister, I will proceed with you now. Honourable Reddy.
I'm rising on point of privilege. Go and check your rules.
Show us where is that point. I'm looking at it. I can't find it.
Honourable Reddy. This is now the last warning that I give you. You are now causing interruptions and you are on the verge of being grossly exercising misconduct. The next step is that I will ask you to leave the House. Honourable Deputy Minister, I already ruled on that particular point. We appreciate your explanation, but I have ruled it not to be, the point not to be sustained. We will now proceed. Honourable Member at the podium, please proceed. I'm asking the members in the House. It is against the rules to rise on frivolous points of order and specifically not on the wrong point of order. Please make sure you rise on the correct point of order. Honourable Member at the podium, please proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. But the community raised concerns about the inhuman living conditions of residents in these informal settlements. This report also highlighted that the project that falls under the People Housing Programme has stalled. This problem is not only in the Western Cape, but it is a country-wide problem. This is a South African problem. A project that started in 2014, and very disturbing is the fact that over 40 people that were approved to be allocated houses, only 16 benefited. Since the start of democracy in '94, we have had problems in the sector. We're eradicating problems regarding the backlog of housing applications since 1996, the illegal occupation and selling of RDP houses, the lack of a housing database before houses are allocated, the unspent or provincial grants in the backlog entitled these for RDP houses must now be a huge priority for this government to sort this problem out for once and for all. Hierdie probleme gaan vir te lank aan en dit word elke dag net erger en erger. Hierdie departement het onderneem om 300,000 wooneenhede reg oor die land te verskaf. En hierdie is ook van die oorsake van wat lei tot onwettige grondbesetting. Aan die einde van 24 het ons kennis geneem van die ouditeur-generaal se verslag oor die swak prestering van entiteite in hierdie departement en geen gebeurlikheidsplanne was en is nog in plek. Nou, Junk Speaker, hierdie komitee kan voorstelle maak by die duisende aan plaaslike, provinsiale regerings en die nasionale departemente, maar die fluit bly staan totdat hierdie probleme nie opgelos en uitgewis gaan word nie, gaan aanbevelings absoluut niks help nie. Ek dank u.
Action essay.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As Action Essay, we are concerned about the continuing prevalent practice of normalizing the abnormal. We seem to be good at celebration of squalor. We even name these places that are not fit for human occupation after struggle heroes of our country. We reward and legitimize unlawful behavior. We are a reactive government that abdicates from its responsibility of planning properly for the needs of society and reacting to unlawful behavior by condoning it to cover our inability to govern and to protect society. It is time for us to show that all lives matter. Living where you choose with a disregard to laws of the country is to promote anarchy. It is time we led at all levels of government. What our country needs is leadership. What our country is to ensure that we do not promote squalor. What I ask myself is, why is there no consequences for officials that were supposed to remove asbestos, relocate those families? We keep coming up with numbers. We keep spending monies, but there's no consequences for our incompetence. We need to rise and treat people of South Africa with dignity. Squatting should not be allowed. Prevention is better than cure.
Thank you. ACDP.
Deputy Speaker, the Parliamentary Committee on Human Settlements is mandated by the Constitution to process legislation and conduct oversight, and indeed, the committee conducted oversight as a result of a request from the Stellenbosch community that raised concerns about inhuman living conditions. The committee visited, among others, Give Settlement, Sleptown in Cluttersville, and Kayamandi. The committee's plans to engage all three spheres of government, at national, provincial, and municipality, and in this case, Stellenbosch municipality, in respect of the implementation of the informal settlements upgrading program should be welcomed and pursued. The efficient allocation and utilization of funds should directly benefit people in need, not least in improving living conditions in informal settlements. The report demonstrates a lack of accountability and transparency in utilizing the department's budget. Regarding the demolition and rebuilding of the 24 Kayamandi hostels, where the structures are severely dilapidated and unfit for human habitation, funding has finally been approved by Public Works Department. And while the ACDP appreciates efforts that have been made, the final goal should be to eradicate what we call squatter camps, because the conditions there are inhuman. When a person looks at what's happening in KZN, how families have been moved from place to place, and how families don't have a place to stay now because of water that has come in. So the ACDP says, while we welcome the report, the final goal and determination should be to eradicate all squatter camps. I thank you.
The UDM.
Yeah, echo Ishalendo. Sizvaganins class Teta Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the United Democratic Movement urges the Department of Human Settlements to address the major issue of piling up of blocked or incomplete human settlement projects, with developments often seeing no end. There are many residents across the country waiting nearly 25 years to receive keys to non-existent houses that they were promised a long time ago. In 2024, the department stated that it had a lot of blocked projects which was focusing on unblocking around the country. While the department declared war on these stagnant deals back in 2021, the department introduced the National Blocking Program to address this. However, tens of thousands of units remain a pipe dream for residents. Decent housing is a basic human right in South Africa, but for many people it is just a pipe dream as they continue to be subjected to crowded informal settlements with poor service delivery. Nalapha phana kanye ekhaya mnandi kuthethwa kule province into yoba the province has approved 6 million rands over 2 years. For this financial year, 2.6 million has been approved through the adjustment budget for demolition and rebuilding of hostels in Kayamandi. Uba umuntu uyayazi ihostel, ayikho ihostel onoyakha uyidemolishe nge-2.6 million, yintsomi kamlengana leyo. Ithetha ukuthi abantu bethu basezawuhlalela ebugqwayibeni. Bayaqhubeka behlala ebugqwayibeni koomakhayelitsha, apha kanye siyazi ukuthi bahlala nako-Joe Slovo kwalanga nakwezinye informal settlements around the country belindile benethemba lokuthi ngenye imini umcimbi wezindlu uyawuze usombululwe for bona kodwa loo nto ayenzeki. Okokugqibela abantu bakuthi masibenzele lula ukuthi bazithengise ii-RDP houses ziyeke uba i-dead capital. Siye kunesa abantu sibanike izindlu siphinde ngosibanike i-dead capital abangakwazi uyithengisa abamane becela amalizo. Siyabulela.
Rise.
So from ourselves as Rise Mzansi, we want to first thank the Portfolio Committee for not letting this matter go. Because it was in the previous Parliament that the Portfolio Committee visited this particular area, and there were recommendations that were made in that visit. But what is of serious concern to ourselves is that these issues remains unresolved until now. It has taken 2 visits by the Portfolio Committee, and still there's a very little movement in that regard. The other aspect that we want to raise, Deputy Speaker, is that the recommendations that are contained in the report are speaking of days that have already passed. So we are looking at days, for instance, of 6 December 2024 to relocate the community members that the Chairperson spoke of by the 13th of December 2024. So today, we are on the 4th of March, and there hasn't been any update to the report or what has happened to these community members, whether the municipality and the provincial government has adhered to these recommendations. Because if we are making recommendations for the sake of making them and not following up, it means that we are shortchanging the people that we are meant to save. So we would like to hear from the Portfolio Committee whether these particular recommendations that were to be achieved by the end of December 2024 has been achieved, and what is the status of the community members that were to be relocated and the structures that were to be demolished.
Thank you. Bosa?
Bosa is in support with no declaration.
No declaration. ATM? Not present. Al-Jamar? Not present. NCC?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable members, Khotsom Africa. This report failed to propose interim solution to alleviate the immediate suffering of residents. While it recommends relocation of residents from Crieff informal settlement by December 2024, no interim measures such as temporary residence unit for emergency services outlined. This omission reflects the lack of agency in addressing the humanitarian crisis faced by the communities. Residents cannot wait for long-term solutions. They need immediate relief to improve their living conditions. The report also highlights the severe health and safety risk, particularly in Kayamandi Hostel, where asbestos containment poses a significant threat to residents. While the report recommends asbestos removal, the proposed timeline of completion by June 2025 is unacceptable, prolonging given the immediate health risk. Temporary relocation and asbestos containment measures should be prioritized to mitigate these dangers. The health and safety of residents must be treated as an urgent priority, not a problem to be addressed in a leisure space. Another critical issue is the inadequate engagement with the affected communities. The report acknowledged resistance from some community members, particularly the Slab Town, regarding relocations. However, it failed to propose comprehensive strategy to address this resistance. Effective communication engagement requires transparent communication, participatory decision-making, tailored solution to address resident-specific concern. Without this element, trust between the stakeholders and communities will remain fractured, hindered progress. Inclusive and participatory approach are essential to build a trust and ensuring smooth transition. Additionally, the report identified mismanagements and delay.
Honourable Member, your time has expired.
Kanimambo.
Thank you. PAC. No declaration. UAT. Not present. Good. Not present. ANC.
Madam Speaker, Deputy Speaker, the African National Congress fully supports the report of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements Oversight, visits to the informal settlement in Stellenbosch and Strand in the Western Cape Province. Honorable Chairperson, as members of this august House, we have the important responsibility of ensuring that the three spheres of government together provides our people with decent housing, security, and comfort. This year marks the 70 years since the adoption of the Freedom Charter during the Congress of the People in 1995 at Clifton. The Freedom Charter is the ANC-headed alliance blueprint document for the creation of the National Democratic Society. The Freedom Charter demands democratic government to allow people to live where they choose and that they should be decently housed, that all unused housing space be made available for the people to build their own homes, that the government takes the reasonable steps to eradicate slums or informal settlements and be replaced with new human settlements where there is reliable and affordable public transport network, proper road infrastructure, social, educational, and recreational amenities to make life more enjoyable in a democratic South Africa. As the Portfolio Committee of Human Settlement, we had the opportunity to conduct an oversight visit to the affected communities to get first-hand experience on the conditions of these communities and to examine progress in terms of addressing the challenges they faced. The people living in cliff informal settlements lack the security of tenure as the land they live is private property. And therefore, as the Portfolio Committee, we recommended that the government look for an alternate land to relocate the community to guarantee tenure security. We further recommended that the three spheres of government ensure that there are temporary residential units that have access to safe, clean drinking water and temporary sanitation infrastructure where this community is going to be relocated. Honorable Chair, the Portfolio Committee also made an oversight visit to the Slaptown informal settlement in the same town of Stellenbosch. This informal settlement was built under the bridge and the community has been living there for over 20 years. It represents the poorest of the poor in the historical university town, as most of, if not all of the community members are not employed and they depend on searching for recyclable material to sell for their livelihoods. In our engagement with the government officials and the Slaptown community members, it came to our attention that there were attempts to relocate this informal settlement. However, those attempts failed due to lack of social facilitation. As the Portfolio Committee, we recommended that the social facilitation should happen on a regular basis to address relocation resistance and that the three spheres of government should identify suitable, well-located land to relocate the community as well as the provision of temporary residential units with the necessary water and sanitation infrastructure. Honorable Chair, the Ministry of Human Settlement has prioritized the removal of asbestos roofs and the unblocking of stalled projects. We therefore expect that the Provincial Department of Human Settlement will also do the same in Kayamdani Hostel. We found that there are still asbestos roof. We recommend that they be removed and that the portfolio committee be furnished with the progress report by June 2025. Some of us were disheartened to hear that some community members who were benefits from the stalled Masindani People's Housing Project in Strand has passed on without owning any house due to incompetent housing project. As the portfolio committee, we recommend that the provincial department assist the departments of the deceased beneficiaries in applying for power of attorney for their sites to be registered in their names. We recommend that the provincial department furnish the portfolio committee with 6 months acceleration plan to build the houses for the 24 approved beneficiaries. Most importantly, we require a report from the provincial department detailing the root cause of the stalling of the housing projects, the responsible officials, and the consequence measures undertaken by the department against those responsible officials. As we will be commemorating the 70th anniversary since the adoption of the Freedom Charter, we should ensure that these communities are provided with decent housing, security, and comfort as committed in the Freedom Charter document. As the African National Congress, we once again support the Oversight Visit Report as tabled by Portfolio Committee Chairperson, Honorable CIB. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I now recognise the Honourable Chief Whip.
Good morning, Deputy Speaker, and good morning to all honourable members. I move that the report be adopted.
The motion is that the report be adopted. Are there any objections? Honourable Reddy.
MK Party will object.
The objection of the MK is noted. Any other objections? Yes, there at the back. I can't see. I just see a hand. Dr. Mashlatsi. AUT objects. Any other objections? Not. The report is adopted with those objections. Before I now move to the second order, members, there is a ruling that was outstanding that I will now deal with. On the 10th of February 2025, during the debate on the recent casualties incurred by the South African National Defence Force in the Democratic Republic of Congo and the implications for the Defence Force, Honourable G.J. Skosana rose on a point of order regarding remarks that were made by the Honourable Mashlatsi during his speech, accusing the Minister of Defence and military veterans of having demonstrated gross incompetence by keeping quiet. Honourable Mashlatsi is recorded in the unrevised Hansard as having said the following: our Minister, Meanji Moshecha, has also demonstrated gross incompetence. How does the Minister remain silent for days while the lives of our soldiers are lost? Having had the opportunity to study the Hansard, I rule as follows. In accordance with Section 58(1)(a) of the Constitution, Cabinet members, Deputy Ministers and members of the National Assembly have freedom of speech in the Assembly and its committees, subject to its rules and orders. Rule 85 states that no member may impute improper motives to any other member or cast personal reflections upon a member's integrity or dignity or verbally abuse a member in any other way. This rule further provides that a member who wishes to bring any improper or unethical conduct on the part of another member to the attention of the House may do so only by way of a separate substantive motion comprising a clearly formulated and properly substantiated charge. Honourable members, gross incompetence referred to a serious lack of ability or skills required to perform a task and does not imply an act of deliberate omission. The Honourable Member based his judgment on the Minister's lack of ability or skills to do her job on her quietness, while the lives of soldiers were lost according to him. Whether this statement is true or not is a point of debate. Those are his political views. It is indeed the duty of members to hold the executive to account for how they exercise their executive authority at national level, and that in doing so, unpalatable political views may be expressed. Care should be taken not to stifle members from expressing their views frankly, provided it is done within the confines of the rule. And therefore, I do not find that Honourable Maslatsi violated Rule 85, but find that he merely expressed a political view. We will now proceed. The Secretary will read the second order.
Consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation on a petition from residents of Ward 20, Ward 29, Ward 36, and Ward 92, Germiston, Ekurhuleni, calling on the Assembly to investigate water supply in their area. Submitted by Mrs M O Clarke, MP.
I now recognize the Chairperson, Honourable Basson.
Deputy Speaker, I present the committee's findings on the ongoing water supply challenges in Germiston, city of Ekurhuleni. This matter brought to our attention through a petition lodged by Honourable Clarke on behalf of the residents of Ward 20, 29, 36 and 92. Underscores the urgent need for investigation in the region's failure of water infrastructure. Water is not just a basic necessity, but a constitutional right. However, communities in Germiston face continuous and worsening water shortages. This failure to keep reservoirs adequately filled has severely impacted residents and businesses. The community engaged with the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water and the City of Ekurhuleni to assess the root causes of these disruptions. Our investigation revealed several critical issues: a rapidly increased demand for water due to population growth, a high level of non-revenue water losses from leaks and illegal connections, infrastructure failure worsened by load shedding and cable theft, as a lack of sufficient investment in municipal water storage and distribution infrastructure. Deputy Speaker, while we acknowledge the temporary relief measures implemented by the municipality, such as the development of deployment of water tankers and valve throttle, these are stopgate solutions and do not provide long-term stabilities. To ensure a sustainable water supply, several long-term investigations are in progress. A new reservoir adjacent to Russell Road Reservoir will increase storage capacity to 40.5 megalitres. This project is nearly completed and should be commissioned by April 2025. A 15 megalitre concrete reservoir at Churchill with a 400mm pipeline and upgrade pump station is planned for the 25-26 financial year, subject to budget approval. Construction of a 2.5 megalitre replacement water tower at Sunny Ridge alongside the planned 30 megalitre North Ridge Reservoir is improved to improve
previous predecessors who went out to communities, especially under the term of President Jacob Zuma, meeting communities when there was a crisis. She refuses to meet the people. What is she afraid of? She only knows them during elections.
On a point of order.
And today,
Reddy,
the
please
people
take
of
your
South
seat.
Africa have a loud and clear message.
Honourable Reddy,
On a
please
point of
take
order,
your
Speaker.
seat. Take your seat. Yes, Honourable Minister, on what point do you rise?
Ndiphakama ndibiza i-point of order ngelithi ilungu eli libalulekileyo lihleli kule ndawo akamele ilungu eli lime apha ayiyonyani lento akayithethayo kuba akho kwamntu oke wandibiza makangazoni misleader indlu. You are not allowed to mislead the House. Nobody pina.
Honourable Member, that is a point of the debate, whether it is misleading or not. But I will go back to the Hansard and check and come back with a ruling because the interpretation was not very clear at this point, but I will come back to the House with that. Honourable Manyi, I have already ruled now on that point. So there's no further discussion on that point. I have ruled. Is it a new point? Honourable Manyi?
Speaker, I'm rising to raise a point of order on you. That when it's us, we are very quick to ask for which rule we are rising on. But when it's the Minister of the Coalition, you don't ask them, you give them all the opportunity to speak. So can you please be consistent, Deputy Speaker? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Manyi. We proceed. Honourable Reddy, please proceed.
The minutes of the meeting will prove what I'm saying. I don't have to say more. This minister is unfit for office. She is in denial, she is out of touch, and she has failed our nation. All these GNU parties here, they must hang their heads in shame. They have prioritized positions over our people. They have prioritized power over service. And they have more excuses than actual action. This is a damn disgrace. The MK party rejects these recommendations. We refuse to support another empty report filled with delays. We demand real action. These recommendations that we are discussing today does not put water in the taps of the residents of Germiston or the residents of Ekurhuleni who have been without water for months on end. I don't think this minister knows about that. But we work in the communities as MK. We work with people on the ground, and we know their plight and their suffering without water. You come here and talk about the Constitution. You trample on that Constitution. You spit on that Constitution. That Constitution is not worth the paper it is written on, simply because of what you are doing. And to the people of South Africa, we have a message for you as the MK party. If Mr. Ramaphosa truly cares about you, he will remove this minister. And we have a message to those in the country who are crying out for water. We say to you, Pemi must go! 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 And to the people in this country who are concerned that the country is falling apart, our message to you is chant this message that GNU must go. GNU must go. GNU must go. GNU must go. Amanda!
Honourable Reddy. You are
Honourable Speaker, let me come to town.
Honourable members, I will deal with you now, Deputy Minister. Honourable Reddy. Honourable Reddy. Honourable Reddy, I am speaking to you. I have warned you earlier that you are now falling foul of being grossly conducting was gross, or not, your conduct is grossly. I am now going to ask you, because your behavior now at the podium is not in line with the rules. I had repeatedly asked you to take your seat, which you ignored.
I
So
cannot hear you.
repeatedly-
I still cannot hear you. I cannot hear you, Acting Speaker.
Honourable Reddy,
That's
can you
better.
hear me now?
Yes.
I had repeatedly,
Reddy must go.
and you had repeatedly ignored my instruction. All the other speakers
That's
could
because
hear.
I couldn't hear you.
Honourable Reddy.
I could not hear you.
Honourable Reddy,
I did not hear you.
Honourable Reddy, I now ask you to please leave the chamber.
You're
Please leave the chamber.
Never, Speaker.
Please leave the chamber.
Never, Deputy Speaker. Your sound is not audible, and we are not going to allow such a ruling.
Now
Ever.
asking Honourable Reddy to leave the chamber.
Femi must go.
Sergeant at Arms, please assist. Honourable Sergeant at Arms, please assist Mr. Reddy to leave the chamber.
Speaker.
House Chair.
I am busy with a point, and in terms of the rules, no interruption whilst I am busy with Honourable Reddy.
Ready, why are you still sitting? Go, 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 go.
Honourable members, Honourable members,
House Chair.
if the member refuses to leave the chamber, the presiding officer orders the sergeant at arms to remove the member from the chamber.
Nobody is a hand.
But we are raising our hands out of respect, and you deliberately ignoring
I
us.
am busy with a point.
And when we speak outside of your appointment, will be regarded as disrespectful or not in line with the rules. We are raising our hands. You are deliberately ignoring us.
I am dealing with...
You are deliberately ignoring my hand. I've been raising my hand the whole time.
Because you cannot, please consult...
I'm raising my hand, and I will switch off the mic and continue to raise...
I have now warned you. Please consult the rules. You may not take a point of order on a point of order which I am busy dealing with. I have warned the Honourable Reddy earlier.
hand is up.
The same with you.
But my hand
Member,
is up.
that does not matter. I do not recognize you.
But I have a right to speak as a member of
I
Parliament.
do not recognize you.
Recognize us.
I have directed Honourable Reddy to leave the chamber in terms of Rule 70, and you have refused. I now ask the Sergeant at Arms to remove the member from the chamber and precincts in terms of Rule 73(1). If you still refuse to leave Honourable Reddy, and after the Sergeant at Arms indicates to the presiding officer that the member refuses to comply, which he has just done, I have...
You were not
Honourable
using the mic
Reddy,
you are using when you were calling...
Honourable
When you
Reddy,
were
I have
speaking to
given you
Honourable
further
Vice to take a seat, you are not
opportunity to
using
comply
that
with the
mic.
directives of
Now you are
the
using that mic and you want to rule.
As assisted by the Sergeant at Arms, as
We
this
could not
conduct
hear you.
is now
Honourable
directly
Reddy could
impeding
not
the
hear you.
ability of the House to conduct its business, I now call upon the Parliamentary Protection Services in terms of Rule 73(2) to assist the Sergeant at Arms to remove the member from the chamber and precincts so that the House can proceed with its business. Honourable Sergeant at Arms, Honourable Reddy, please leave.
Honourable Speaker.
No, but my hand is up, Speaker. My hand is up.
Randy must go. Puma, don't threaten the speaker. Go.
Honourable members, this matter will be referred to the Powers and
You will
Privileges
go out.
Committee. Honourable members, this matter will be referred to the Powers and
You will
Privileges
go out.
Committee. I now call on the EFF. Honourable members, this matter has now been concluded. Please consult the rules that this matter has been concluded. You may now write to the chairperson of the Rules Committee to deal with the matter if you are unhappy with the ruling, the EFF. Please
You have a
proceed.
tendency of abusing the position you occupy. We are here as honorable members with issues and you need to recognize us.
Honourable member of the EFF, please proceed.
So you are deliberately
Please
ignoring
proceed,
us?
yes. The matter has been concluded. You may now write to the Rules Committee.
Speaker, my hand is up.
Is it a new rule? Honourable member, please take your seat.
Ngifisela
Is it a
uPresident
new
wethu,
matter, not the previous matter? Honourable member of the MK.
Hey bafethu lento ithi wa ngathi semanzini.
Honourable member.
Akanilungiseni lento.
Honourable member at the podium, please take your seat. A member of the MK has an issue. Yes, honourable member.
Honourable Speaker.
Awukwazi uyakhuluma ngathi yakulingisa.
Honourable Makula, please take your seat.
Honourable Speaker, I think your incompetence is going to collapse.
Honourable member, that is a matter of debate.
No, but you are giving yourself powers that you don't have. You must quote a rule. You don't just say someone must leave the house without quoting the rule. Against which rule have you taken the decision that you have taken?
Rule 73(1).
What does it say?
I read it. I'm not reading it again, and the matter is now closed. Please
No,
take
but
your
what does
seat.
it say? What does it say?
Well, please listen. It says, I have directed you to leave the chamber in rules of Rule 70. Please check it in your book and check with your chief whip. And you have refused, which the Honourable already did. I now ask the Sergeant at Arms to remove the members from the chamber and precinct in terms of Rule 73(1). It has now been concluded.
You are
Thank
not using that speaker. You are not using the microphone.
I am
You are
using
using a
both.
separate microphone. We didn't hear you. Honourable already did
I
not
am
hear
sorry,
you.
you can go and consult the Hansard. Honourable Makula, please proceed. Please proceed, Honourable Member. Please proceed, yes.
Ngithi angibingelele kupresident wethu ingcitha buchopho bese ngithi happy birthday ngosuku lakhe la izolo angikhuluma indaba balethete ngiyekeni phansi. Okay,
Speaker, there is a member whose hand is
kufuna
up.
ukukhuluma
Honourable Member, Honourable Skosana, we have now dealt with the matter. Is it a new matter? Honourable Makahula, please take your seat. Please put on your headphones. Maybe that would
kodwa
assist.
nesikhathi sokudlala niyazi.
Ngithokoze mgcini isihlalo. Mgcini isihlalo awuzwakali. Ngicabanga ukuthi indlu le ikhambe kuhle. Fanele ukuthome wena uzwakale ngendlini apha. Ngoba nje uyakhuluma uzokhuluma nathi bese uthi siyakudelela ngoba asikuzwa. Ngiba ukuthi i-team ye-communication or whoever is responsible for his sound in this house akhenze into erehe asikuzwa. Mhlawumbe abanye bayakuzwa njengami nje angikuzwa ukuthi uthini ni. Siyakubawa ke speaker ukuthi akuthole abantu into njengoba siye sadelay 12 minutes here. We are back lapho sibiyele lapha entweni leyo awuzwakali ugcina isihlalo. Akunamuntu olwa nawe ni. Mara ke most pale posture osipayona ubuso bakho ngendlela ngathi uyalwa. Siyakubawa ukuthi ubawe abantu bala ukuthi balungise sound. Even uphethele microphone asikuzwa. Please, ngiyakubawa mgcini sala asilwi nawe mara sibawa ukuthi akhe sizwe kungabi ngathi sisebhareni as a belief.
Honourable Member, it is very strange that it is only the MK who can't hear today. So there is clearly a problem in that corner of the House. Honourable Member at the podium, please proceed and please put on your headphones because all the other members can hear. So the MK, I think there is a problem with your microphones. I will have your microphones and your earpieces checked. Honourable Member, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, that is actually very patronizing what you've just said.
It is not patronizing. It is clear that there is a problem over here and we will investigate it. Thank you.
Bafethu, okugcina manje le ndaba up and down, sit, khathele yona. Indaba yase Germiston. Siyayazi sino MEC wethu uThembi Msane. Ufikile futhi nala ku national waza kwa Water and Sanitation bavumelana walalela wabuyela emuva wayilungisa lezo inkinga. So ngenxa yokuthi ngenhlanta kwamina myself ngideploye khona sizoqhubeka siyilungise kodwa kwamanje asikakabi nenkinga Ekurhuleni. Amapipe labevuza asikabi nayo inkinga ngaphandle manilwela oba phela nilwa lento yenu esibiza eGNU. Nanso ke indaba la ilele khona ungasheshe unqome minister ngishaya izandla ngekhanda. Uyabona siyile eLesotho Highland into esithole lapha yana iproject ihamba kancane khona la ifike ime khona kanti abantu baseGruleni banenkinga yamanzi. Into khona lapha kudliwa imali lelo singayishendezi imali ziyadliwa abantu okufuneka ke kuliwe nabo yilabo abaphethe lama project ngoba bona mabesebedla lezi zimali baye becabanga ukuthi balida ilwane nothi abantu ababonayo abanandaba lempilo zabantu. Ama-province wonke anenkinga yamanzi. Omasipala abanandaba nokulungisa infrastructure. Njengoba nibona nje eThekwini kumuka, abanandaba namapipe uthi afakwa nini, itamkoko zafakwa nini, abanango into ebhalwe phansi uma ngabe unjiniya athe faka lelo pipe ukuthi leli pipe lafakwa nini ufuna likhishwe nini liphinde lilungiswe. Yingakho nibona yonke indawo lezi esendaweni special kubantu abamnyama zinalenkinga. La ko Philip mangabuya khona nje uzoyibonela indle iyagijima. Ngizosho engidume ngakho. Chasworth kunogogo kuyimanje indle igijima izigcwale endlini yakhe. Mina abantu ebengicabanga ukuthi kufanele ke beboshwe. Hayi indaba ukuthi basaphenywa ngoba makuthiwa kuyaphenywa kuphenywa utararata akukho la kuthiwa namba sesilibabambile.
Honourable member, your time has expired.
Omasipala ibona kanye abadla izimali lezi efana ziye kubantu ngenxa ukuthi bavala ompompi ukuze badle nalabantu bama-truck amanzi ngoba bayageyina nabemanzini.
Your time has expired.
1 minute ade ningibambezele ngikubekezele nawe. Soke manje amanzi ayimpilo yabantu city of Johannesburg banqamulela abantu amanzi. Bathi abantu ababakhokhele ngani amanzi ngoba abantu abasebenzi bahola u350. U350 ungakwazi ukukhokhela abantu abaqasha abantu akwazi ukunqamulela amanzi abantu ngoba kufanele ukuthi unqamulela abantu kuphila. Ngeke we are sick and tired.
Honourable member, your time has expired. Honourable member, your time has expired. Your time has expired. No. Please, your time has expired. Everyone could hear you. Honourable member, your time has expired. Honourable member, we are checking the time. I know. But your time, you only had 3 minutes. IFP.
Honourable Speaker, please review the earlier ruling on Honourable Member Vest, because it's just been confirmed that your mic is inaudible and you wrongfully removed our member. Review that ruling.
Yes. Honourable member, we will take everything to the Rules Committee and to the Powers and Privileges Committee. Honourable Member of the IFP, please proceed. Honourable Member, please leave the podium. Please leave the podium, Honourable Member.
Deputy Speaker, my hand is up.
Honourable Kalipi, I can't hear you. Your member is talking. Please proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Speaker, now we can see that there is a problem. You are using 2 mics yourself. Still, there is a problem in this house. Can you fix the sound? Exactly, Mam Kaula didn't hear you when you were talking to her. Now, can you explain to us why are you using 2 mics? You are having 2 mics as we speak. Still, you want
this
members
lady
to
must
hear
come
you.
back.
There's a problem.
Honourable Reddy couldn't hear you and you threw him out.
Honourable members, I warned Honourable Reddy, and we will look into the sound.
Honourable Reddy couldn't hear you and you threw him out.
He couldn't hear me because he was chanting.
Exactly, he didn't hear you.
Speaker, you're wrong.
That, honourable members, we will now proceed. The member from the IFP.
Speaker, you're wrong.
Fix the sound.
Honourable members, we have...
I supposed to now, I must call a panzer now to take all this table because they're failing to do their job.
Honourable member, please leave the podium.
Visbin Reddy must come back into the house.
Yes, Visbin must return.
Speaker, just admit that you were wrong. Just admit.
Honourable members, Honourable Reddy was removed because of his chanting and disorderly behaviour.
No,
that is why he was
That
removed.
was not your ruling. That was not your ruling. You dismissed him in the light of you saying he did not recognize when you said there's an order on him, not what you are saying. Be consistent, Speaker.
I am
Deputy Speaker, be consistent. You are
Honourable
biasly applying the rules.
You are now all of a sudden able to hear me.
No, but you are wrong. You are wrong, Speaker. You are very wrong. You chased Reddy out for not sitting down when you told him to sit down.
IFP member must proceed.
That was your ruling.
Member from the IFP, please proceed.
Deputy Speaker.
Who is speaking now? Yes, Honourable Michalakis, please proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I've had my hand up for quite a while. It's good to be recognized, finally. Deputy Speaker, I just want clarity, and I don't know who is going to ultimately decide on this matter, but it is against the rules of the House to cast aspersions against the member.
Honourable members, we can hear from here. I can hear the Honourable Michalakis. Please proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, it is against the rules of the House to cast aspersions against the member. You are also a member of this House, and I would like one of the presiding officers, independent from yourself, to make a ruling at a future stage as to the allegations that some of the members of the opposition have made against your character and your ability to rule, firstly. The second thing that I would like to comment on, if I may, by point of order, is that the leader of the MK party so grossly a few years back advised that soap works against AIDS. Well, maybe he should advise his members to start with their ears. Thank you.
Thank you,
What's the
Honourable
relevance?
Michalakis. I will rule on that matter by listening to the Hansard again. Honourable Skosana.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Speaker. No, Deputy Speaker, the issue of Honourable Reddy is done. Members who want to object it or to appeal it, they can write to the Rules Committee. They cannot contest your ruling in this House. So can we please proceed, Honorable Speaker? And members of the MK cannot just open mics and speak without raising their hands and be recognized. Please, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. That is correct. I have now repeatedly said the matter has been dealt with. I am not entertaining any points on the Honourable Reddy. If it is a new point, Honourable Mani, please raise.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Speaker, I'm raising on the original point I raised on when we started, issue of sound. The sound is undermining the proceedings of this House. Some of the rulings that we make, some of the direction that we give, you think you are being ignored when in fact you are not audible. So can you please, maybe another 5 minutes for the IT people to deal with the sound. We have a serious sound problem. This is the reason we have 2 mics there. We only have 1. We have a serious sound problem here, Deputy Speaker. So we might appear belligerent when in fact we can't hear even the Chief Whip of the DA. We heard only half of what she was saying. We didn't hear everything. We really have a sound problem, Speaker.
We will look into the matter because apparently the sound is from this side. Honourable Swart.
Chair, thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I rise on Rule 92, and just to indicate that we can hear very clearly from where we are here. There may be a problem there, but we can hear you very clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. I have had that report and confirmation from throughout the hall. It is only this particular side here that it seems that we have a problem. I will ask the technicians to look into, perhaps just have a big speaker in front of you so that you can hear. So everyone can hear, and we will now proceed with the Honourable Member from the IFP. Honourable Member, please proceed. Honourable Skosana, I'm not going to deal with that matter now. It is my prerogative to decide whether I take a matter or not. We have now dealt with the sound. We will look into it. We are not going to suspend the House now for the sound. It has now been dealt with. We have taken notice, and the technicians are working on that. Honourable Member of the IFP, please proceed.
Honourable Speaker, the Inkatha Freedom Party acknowledges the petition from residents of Ward 20, 29, 36 and 92 in Germiston regarding severe water supply challenges. We advocate for reliable service delivery, recognizing access to clean water as a fundamental human right. The report identifies issues like aging infrastructure and mismanagement, but lacked a strong accountability mechanism. While temporary measures are noted, we emphasize the need for long-term solutions. We urge immediate investment in infrastructure, clear timelines, and accountability for entities like Rand Water and the city of Ekurhuleni. It's crucial that community needs are prioritized and that decision-making involves residents. Adherence to the Water Service Act and strict measures against negligence must be enforced. The IFP stands with Germiston residents and calls on Parliament and the Department of Water and Sanitation to act swiftly. Ignoring these challenges endangers citizens' well-being and erodes trust in governance. The IFP accepts the report. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Patriotic Alliance.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Deputy Speaker. On behalf of the Patriotic Alliance, I firstly want to wish all our Muslims a Ramadan Kareem. Deputy Speaker, as we work to address Ekurhuleni's pressing water issues, the committee acknowledges the implementation of both short-term and long-term measures, such as building of more reservoirs and water towers to increase the storage capacity and the use of trucks to transport water supplies during disruptions. We have lots of obstacles to overcome, even if some of the long-term solutions are scheduled to be put into service by April 2025. Our major issue is the absence of funding for a new 15 megalitre concrete reservoir that would include conduit from Churchill Pump Station with a diameter of 400 millimeters. To reduce supply disruptions in Churchill's supply zone, the current pump station must be upgraded. Additionally, to the Department, Rand Water and City of Ekurhuleni submitted a progress report on the new Russell Road reservoirs, commissioning including its effects on our water supply and further precautions that have been taken. We also want a thorough report on the Lesotho Highlands water projects, including how it will affect Gauteng's water supply and how much will be given to Rand Water to improve Ekurhuleni supply. Finally, to guarantee effective water management, we implore the department to create a national non-revenue water reduction strategy. Let's work together to ensure that everyone in Ekurhuleni has access to sustainable water solutions. We support the report, and I thank you.
Thank you. Freedom Front Plus.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, this petition highlights and is an example of the plight faced by millions of South Africans daily, the lack of access to adequate water supply. Millions of South Africans are suffering because of that. This petition and its findings also highlights the causes thereof. And in the first place, we are a water-scarce country. In the second place, there is a lack of infrastructure, and projects like the Lesotho Highlands water project has been delayed for many, many years due to corruption and due to a lack of adequate planning in that regard. But then also, thirdly, the cause is infrastructure on a local level, on a municipal level, that are deteriorating completely. And, Madam Deputy Speaker, even if the Lesotho Highland Water Project is completed by 2028, it will not solve the lack of water supply in Gauteng in particular because of municipalities' infrastructure that are completely deteriorated. And we are losing millions of litres of water as a result thereof. Let me respond to the Honourable Reddy in his absence. The Lesotho Highlands water project's delay occurred between 2009 and 2018 because the completion date should have been 2019. Who was the president? Was it the GNU? No, the GNU started last year. The last 9 years under President Jacob Zuma is responsible for the plight of the people and the lack of access to water. Thank you.
Action essay. Honourable Member, before you proceed, Honourable Manyu, on what point do you rise?
Deputy Speaker, I'm rising on a point of privilege to say to yourself that when we raise point of orders, that is our right. Now, when you have ruled on a point of order and we continue raising our hands, you can't assume that we are dealing with the same issue. It's your duty to allow us to articulate what we are rising on, and then we can make a determination whether we are dealing with the matter you've ruled on or on a separate matter. But when you continue to raise the hand after you have ruled, it's incorrect for you to assume that we are raising the hand to undermine your previous ruling. Thank you.
We will proceed. Honourable Member at the podium, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm afraid 2 minutes simply isn't enough for me to give comfort to the residents of Ward 20, Ward 26, Ward 29, Ward 36 and 92, who at a time can go 2 weeks without water supply simply because of the incompetence of the ANC-EFF coalition government in the city of Ekurhuleni. This city, once a thriving city contributing a third to Gauteng's economy, now lies at the heart of our water woes. The root of this problem is the city's mismanagement, corruption, and the simple inability to govern. According to the city's 2021 closeout report, between the years 2016 and 2021, the city spent a whopping 1.2 billion into its built infrastructure program, building 29 reservoirs over and above the 29 which were built pre-1994, catering to a population of 2 million. Today, the city of Ekurhuleni is home to a population of 4.6 million, making it one of the most densely populated cities in South Africa. The infrastructure that was once envisioned to provide adequate water supply now lies incomplete and abandoned. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is a travesty. The people of Germiston cannot survive when taps are dry, and the temporary solution of water tankers simply will not suffice. And instead of looking for quick fixes, we urge the city to prioritize completion of reservoirs and ring-fence a portion of your allocated budget to upgrading the existing pump stations and connect them to rainwater to address water supply interruptions. Long, lofty promises simply aren't going to cut it. We need a government that can act. A government such as the one in the city of Tshwane that was able to turn an 8-year water disaster-ridden municipality into an 8-month success story. As Action SA will give our support to the report on the condition that the recommendations are implemented expeditiously, because the future of the residents of Germiston depends on it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
ACDP.
Deputy Speaker, consideration of report of PC on water and sanitation on a petition from residents of Ward 20, Ward 29, Ward 36, and Ward 92 in Germiston, Ekurhuleni, calling on the Assembly to investigate water supply in their areas. I must submit, Deputy Speaker and all members, that the problems that are experienced by the people of Ekurhuleni are not the only ones in the country who have such problems. If you look at what's happening in all provinces in South Africa, water and shortage of water, lack of access to clean water is a major problem that needs to be addressed. While we understand that this petition is about the failure of rainwater to provide bulk water to the city of Ekurhuleni to fill its reservoirs, we believe that much more has to be done, not only for the people of Ekurhuleni, but for all the people of South Africa. We need to improve access to water. Now, long term, all the suggestions that we have made in this place will not solve our water problem in South Africa for a number of reasons. If there is no lack of maintenance of infrastructure, we are going to remain with this problem forever. Now, the issue of maintenance has to be improved. There has to be more people with skills who know what to do when it comes to infrastructure maintenance. And now there is also a lot of water, many liters, that are being wasted because of leaks that some municipalities, we are told, are even getting between 40 and 50% of water due to them because of these leaks. And I want to suggest that Israel has made an offer to assist South Africa, and this offer has not been taken seriously. I want to
Honourable
appeal.
Member, your time has expired. Thank you. UDM.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. The UDM supports the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation's recommendations for the Department to develop a national non-revenue water reduction strategy. It is a critical and overdue step in addressing water losses that undermine service delivery and deepen South Africa's water crisis. Municipalities like City of Johannesburg and City of Tshwane report losses exceeding 40%, and the City of Ekurhuleni stands at 29%. These figures represent millions of liters of treated water that are wasted. This is water that could also ease supply constraints in struggling communities. The committee's findings expose a grim reality: deteriorating infrastructure, persistent water cuts, poor governance, financial mismanagement, and rampant cable theft that have left households facing frequent, prolonged water outages. The strategy's success hinges on the political will to execute it. South Africans cannot keep on suffering on the consequences of inefficiency, corruption, and mismanagement in the water sector. The Bill of Rights guarantees everyone the right to have access to sufficient water, placing a clearly duty on the state to protect, manage, and distribute this resource equitably. Areas that require immediate action in order to best achieve this are leaks and burst pipes. Driving high water losses must be tackled through a nationwide audit of municipal water networks, followed by a proactive, well-funded maintenance plan to rapid leak detections. Thank you.
Thank you. Rise.
Chairperson, Deputy Speaker, water is life. Mati Uto. As Rise Mzansi, we have on several occasions highlighted the water crisis that is faced by many South Africans, especially those of us who live in Gauteng. This petition and this report highlights the challenges not only of the people of Ekurhuleni, but the challenges that are faced by many South Africans. We have two particular concerns that we want to raise. One is the rate at which we process petitions from communities. This petition was submitted in 2023 October. It's now March 2025. It has taken this parliament almost 18 months to process this petition, which in a way breaks that trust level between ourselves and the people that we seek to represent. The second aspect that we want to raise as Rise Mzansi, that we find missing in these recommendations of the committee, is the role of those that are providing water through water tankers, because they are trying to create a permanent situation where they are providing water through these water tankers, and would have loved that as part of the recommendations is to look into the contracts of those that are providing water through water tankers. But otherwise, we are happy with the work of the portfolio committee.
Thank you. Bosa.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think one of the things that we need to be clear about from the outset is that the issue that the residents of Germiston face, of struggling without water on a daily basis, is not limited to Germiston. It is in fact a province-wide issue, and actually it's a South African issue, where we know that in various areas there are issues of water. As Build One South Africa, for the purposes of this report, we do endorse the urgent need for infrastructure, investment in the commissioning of new reservoirs, the completion of Lesotho Highlands Water Project 2, but we also need to be clear that infrastructure alone is not what is going to solve this crisis. We need to resolve the deeper issue that has led us to where we are today. The committee's report speaks of demand exceeding supply, leakages, and outages, but what it doesn't fully confront is the real reason why we're here today, which is corruption, mismanagement, and complete failure of municipalities to govern effectively, and this happening at the watch of the Department of Water and Sanitation, not intervening as they should and in the way that the Act commands that they do. Gauteng's municipalities have been crippled by financial mismanagement and service delivery failures, which include water. And the city of Ekurhuleni alone has a non-revenue loss of 29%. But we have to be clear that this crisis is not just about infrastructure delayed, it's actually about failed leadership at municipality level, and failed leadership as well in the Department of Water and Sanitation. We stand with every resident that struggles without water. And we have to be clear that until we have the right governance and the right leadership, we can call it the GNU, we can pretend to put plasters on it, but people will continue to suffer without water until we have leadership that actually intervenes in the way that they should for this very basic human rights. Thank you.
ATM, not here. Al-Jamar, not here. NCC, not here. PAC, not present. UAT,
No declaration.
no declaration. Good, not present. ANC.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, Molweni. First and foremost, the ANC wishes the Muslim community a blessed Ramadan, a period of spirituality, renewal, and significant devotion. The ANC support the report as tabled by the Portfolio Committee Chairperson. As the ANC want to say that this is not a moment for opportunism or drama, but a moment for cool heads, as water is life. We welcome the announcement made by Minister Mojodina on the launch of Water Month, where he made clear that the residents of Gauteng, there is no water crisis in that province because the dam servicing the province have enough water. But the only challenge is to get water to the residents. On the very same month of March, the main objective was to raise awareness to remind South Africans that we are a water-scarce country, and every effort should be undertaken to conserve water. Even though we are a water-scarce country, our water consumption is currently 237 liters per person per day, above the international average of 173 liters per person per day. We further call the residents of Gauteng to reduce their water consumption as it is above national average, as it stands at 290 liters per person per day. And the local municipalities should also play their part in water conservation by fixing water leaks to reduce non-revenue water losses. We stand at 49%, with the city of Ekurhuleni recording 99% of the non-revenue water. As the ANC, we welcome the commitment of the city of Ekurhuleni to put in place both temporal and permanent solutions to address water challenges. In terms of temporal measures, the city will provide both stationary and roving water tankers to affected communities. For the permanent solutions, the city will construct additional new reservoirs and upgrade others to augment and increase their water storage capacities to guarantee water security within the city of Ekurhuleni. The ANC believes that water conservation is everyone's responsibility. And if households and businesses play their part, there will be no need to impose water restrictions. However, we fully support rainwater suggestions that in cases where households and businesses are not compliant with the municipality, it should implement punitive tariffs for excessive water users and embark on a campaign to disconnect illegal connections and criminal cases should be opened against illegal connectors. We also wish to acknowledge the work that is done currently in implementing construction of the new reservoir adjacent to the Russell Road Reservoir, and further encourage rainwater to accelerate the construction of the connection chamber and meet its target planned completion date of April 2025. This will alleviate the water challenges faced by the affected communities. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as the ANC will ensure that the three stakeholders, the city, the rainwater, and the department, comply with the dates that have been agreed upon in the Portfolio Committee to ensure that the water challenges in Germiston are resolved and that communities receive safe, clean drinking water as guaranteed in the South African Constitution. Once again, as the ANC, we support the report of the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation as tabled in this August House. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I now recognize the Honourable Chief Whip.
Thanks, Honourable Chair. May I therefore move that the report be adopted.
The motion is that the report be adopted. Honourable Member of the MK.
Thank you, Chair. MK Party refuses to be co-opted in the newly rekindled corrupt relations in Ekurhuleni with other parties. We vehemently reject the report. Thank you.
Honourable Member at the back.
The ACDP objects. Thank you.
With those objections, the report is agreed to. The Secretary will read the third order.
Consideration of report of Portfolio Committee on Basic Education on oversight visit by Chairperson to Setotolwane LSEN Secondary School, Mankweng, Limpopo Province.
I now recognize the Chairperson of Basic Education, Honourable KJ Maimela.
Honorable House Chair, honorable members, Dumelang. I rise before you today to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to inclusive education that guarantees quality education for all learners in South Africa. Our education system must be one that embraces diversity, promotes equity, and ensures that no learner is left behind, irrespective of their background, disability, or socio-economic status. Inclusive education is not just a policy directive, it is a constitutional imperative. Every child in our country deserves an opportunity to learn in a safe, supportive, and enabling environment. Yet challenges such as insufficient infrastructure, lack of specialized learning materials, inadequate support staff, and financial constraints continue to hinder access to quality education for learners with special needs. Honorable members, our visit to Setotolwane LSN Secondary School follows a long-standing commitment from 2015 when the Portfolio Committee instructed the Limpopo Department of Education to address the poor learning conditions experienced by blind and deaf learners at the previous premises. Unfortunately, despite recommendations and commitments made, the school has waited over 7 years for proper relocation, leaving learners to endure unacceptable conditions. During our recent oversight visit, we witnessed firsthand the unacceptable conditions under which our most vulnerable learners are expected to learn. Dilapidated classrooms, lack of clean water, and inadequate hostel facilities paint a bleak picture that requires urgent intervention. The focus of the oversight was to assess the state of schooling infrastructure and overall readiness for the 2025 academic year.
the following engagements with the school leadership, SGB, department officials, the committee made the following key observations: that boarding facilities, classrooms and sanitation areas are in a deplorable state requiring urgent intervention; that mobile classrooms are structurally unsound with holes in the flooring, leaking roofs and non-functional windows; that the school does not have a reliable water supply relying on tanker refills; that appellation facilities are frequently clogged, causing health and dignity concerns, especially for the blind learners; that there is an urgent need for additional support staff, including hostel caregivers, kitchen staff, and ground personnel; that the school struggles to afford specialized learning materials such as braille writers and calculators. Honourable members, our commitment must be reflected in actionable solutions. As a portfolio committee on basic education, we strongly recommend that the Department of Basic Education firstly prioritizes the provision of adequate infrastructure, including accessible classrooms and boarding facilities in all special schools; that the Department of Basic Education enhances investment in assistive technologies, specialized learning materials, and teacher training to support learners with disabilities; that we expedite measures to address water and sanitation challenges in all schools to promote a safe learning environment; that the department must implement robust monitoring mechanisms to ensure that commitments made for inclusive education are translated into reality. As a portfolio committee on basic education, we strongly urge that these recommendations be implemented without delay. We cannot continue to allow unfulfilled promises, bureaucratic delays, and financial mismanagement to deprive these children of their right to quality education. We extend our appreciation to the school department officials and committee members for their participation in the oversight. This report is tabled in Parliament for urgent consideration, and we will personally ensure that every commitment made is followed through with accountability and agency. We move that this report be considered. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I will now recognize political parties wishing to make declarations. The usual times for declaration of votes will apply. The DA.
Honourable Chair, Honourable Members, the report on the findings of the oversight visit to Setotolwane LSEN Secondary School in Mankweng, Limpopo, details the conditions at a school catering to learners with special education needs. It is a stark reminder of the systemic failures that plague our education system, particularly in rural and under-resourced schools. Setotolwane LSEN Secondary School has been in a state of neglect for far too long. The 2015 oversight visit by the previous committee already identified critical issues, including the dire state of infrastructure and the need for relocation. Yet, nearly a decade later, learners are still subjected to appalling conditions. The fact that grade 8 learners are unable to start their academic year due to unfinished renovations is not just an administrative failure, it is in fact a violation of their constitutional right to basic education. The report highlights several critical infrastructure challenges, including dilapidated mobile classrooms, inadequate boarding facilities, and a lack of access to clean water. The fact that learners are forced to use water from a graveyard is not just a health hazard, it is a violation of their basic human rights. Honourable Chair, amidst these challenges, there is a story of hope and resilience that deserves to be told. Earlier this year, Given Malaka, a partially blind learner from this very same school, was recognized as one of the top matric achievers in the country. Despite writing his final exams in a classroom with holes in the floor and exposed electrical wires, Given excelled. Given's achievement is not just one of personal triumph. It is a reminder of the potential that lies within our schools, even in the most under-resourced and neglected environments. It is a call to action for all of us to ensure that every learner, regardless of their circumstances, has the opportunity to succeed. Honourable Chair, while I welcome the plans to construct a new school, We cannot afford to wait another 3 years for this to materialize. In the interim, urgent interventions are needed to ensure that the current facilities are habitable and safe. This includes repairing the mobile classrooms, addressing the water and sanitation issues, and ensuring that the boarding facilities meet the required norms and standards for special needs learners. The dual leadership structure at the school, with both the acting principal and an original principal, is a cause for concern. This instability has a direct impact on the day-to-day running of the school and the quality of education provided here. I urge the Limpopo Provincial Department to resolve this matter swiftly and ensure that the school has a stable, competent leadership team in place. Furthermore, the lack of adequate support staff, particularly in the hostel and kitchen, is unacceptable. Learners with special needs require additional care and support, and it is imperative that the school is adequately staffed to meet these needs. One of the most concerning aspects of this report is the lack of accountability and monitoring. The fact that the school's water challenges were reported in February 2024, but action only taken in November 2024, is indicative of a systemic failure in the provincial department's monitoring mechanisms. We need a more proactive approach to identifying and addressing challenges in our schools, particularly in rural and special needs schools. We call on the Limpopo Provincial Department of Education to implement a robust monitoring and evaluation system that can identify and address challenges in real time. This includes regular monitoring of schools, circuits and districts, as well as consequence management for officials who fail to act on reported issues. We furthermore support the recommendations outlined in this report, which include additional mobile classrooms, laboratories, and hostel facilities. I also urge the Provincial Department to expedite the completion of the borehole and ensure that the school has a reliable source of clean water. Finally, we call on the Limpopo Provincial Department of Education to prioritize the needs of special schools in their budget allocations and policy interventions. The DA has long advocated for equitable funding and support for all schools, and we will continue to hold the provincial departments accountable for delivering on this mandate. Honourable Chair, the learners of Setotolwane LSEN Secondary School, and indeed all learners in special needs schools across the country, deserve better. They deserve a government that prioritises their education and well-being. Let us not fail them again. Thank you.
Thank you. MK.
Sihlalo, amalunga onke ePhalamende, egameni lomkhonto wesizwe ngiyanibingelela. Umbiko uveza ukuthi umnyango wezemfundo ulokhu uhluleka njalo ukubeka kanye nokumelana nezinselelo, futhi inqubekela phambili ayikho kulomnyango. Singakubuka ngokusobala nje ukuthi umbiko uveza uDepartment of Basic Education uyibulala imfundo yaphansi eNingizimu Afrika. Le report iveza izinkinga ezikhona emnyangweni wezemfundo, njengakho nje ukuthi bahluleka ngisho ukulungisa izimo zezikole, njengoba kukhona izikole ezinezindonga eziwayo emahostela abafundi, izingane zigcwala ngokweqile emaklasini. Amaklasi iroof yakhona iyaconsa. Ngisho amanzi okuphuza ezikoleni awekho. Lapho kuvela khona ukuthi abantwana abayeke ukufunda ke ngoba amanzi awekho ezikoleni. Singasho nje silibeke eSetotolwane Secondary School ukuthi akusona sodwa isikole esiphazamisekile. Kukhombisa khona ukuthi umnyango uyahluleka nokumelana nezidingo zothisha nabafundi. Ngokwe report yezimali kuyavela ukuthi ezikoleni kushoda ngezinsizi zokusebenza, kanti futhi kwawona umnyango uyahluleka ukuqasha othisha. Sikhuluma nje umnyango uveze ukuthi awunayo imali yokuxhasa othisha, kunothisha abaqashwe ngokungaphelele njengothisha baka grade R kunothisha abayekile ukusebenza kunothisha abadlulile emhlabeni kodwa lezo zikhala zabo azivaliwe. iGNU yiyo eshaya indiva njalo ukuthi konke lokhu kungenzeki. Esifundweni saseKwaZulu Natal kunombiko ukuthi othisha abalinganiselwa ku-19,000 bangahle baphelelwe umsebenzi ngenxa yokunciphiswa kwesabelo zimali. Lo hulumeni weGNU uyahluleka uyanqama ukufeza izifuno zabantu njengoba uhluleka ukukhokhela othisha emsebenzini. Lokhu kusho khona ukuthi umnyango awuzimisele ukuthuthukisa abantwana kanye nemphakathi abasuka kuwe. Kodwa ke okuyihlazo kakhulu ikhona nje ukuthi izingane ezisendaweni engcono ngokwamazinga empilo zona zithola lonke usizo. Nakhona lokhu kuveza ngokusobala ukuthi lo hulumeni owezigwili nabamhlophe kuphela, abantu abamnyama abanakiwe. Sicela umnyango ungakhethi iphela emasini, ikakhulukazi ngendaba yengqala sizinda ezikoleni nazo zonke izikole ezindaweni zabantu abantulayo azinakekelwe. Ingakho nje siyiqembu lomkhonto wesizwe phansi siwuchitha lombiko. Thina siyiqembu sithi sizoyiletha equality education njengokusho kweFreedom Charter, sivule ngayo yonke iminyango yokufunda kanye namasiko. Ngizodlulisa ukubonga kothisha abazali nabantwana ngemiphumela emihle kumatriculation ngaphezu kwale ngcindezi yeGNU benze kahle. I thank you.
Thank you. EFF.
Ambohlala phansi sigwile. You are rich.
Before you speak, honorable member.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Before you speak, honorable member. Honorable members, please. I don't know who switched on the mic and was speaking. Please, can we stop doing that? It is unruly. Thank you. Continue, honorable member.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable members of the EFF, led by the CIC President Silo Julius Malema, fellow South Africans, I greet you all. Let me also take this opportunity and extend my revolutionary belated birthday wishes to the CIC of the EFF. President, South Africans love you. Chairperson, I stand before you today to address the findings and recommendations that emerged from the oversight visit conducted by the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education to Setotolwane learners with special education needs, a secondary school in Mankweng, Limpopo Province, on the 21st of January 2025. The report tabled before us today is not just painful to read, it is inhuman and reminds us of a time before 1994. But tragically, the story of Setotolwane Secondary School is not a story of apartheid. It is a story of post-1994, 31 years in our democracy. It is a story of a government that has failed to care for its most vulnerable citizens. It is a story of a black government treating its own people inhumanly, specifically blind and deaf learners with utter disdain. Chairperson, the issues raised in this report requires urgent action. As the EFF, we demand that the Department of Basic Education ensures that reliable clean water is provided to the school immediately and mobile classrooms are made available. We call on the minister to hold those responsible accountable. The report states that the department knew in advance that the school will not be able to reopen due to challenges. Nothing was done to assist the situation. The MEC in Limpopo must be held accountable for failing to carry out her constitutional duties. This is a shame on the Department of Basic Education. As I conclude, Chairperson, Setotolwane learners with special education needs secondary school is a microcosm of struggles faced by many special schools across the country. Chairperson, as the EFF, we stand here and support the adoption of the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. IFP.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and members of the House. Honorable Chairperson, the IFP notes the findings of the recommendations of the Portfolio Committee regarding the recent oversight to Setotolwane LSEN Secondary School. As a party that constantly champions the quality of education and inclusivity, we are concerned about the challenges facing this institution. The issues raised, ranging from the infrastructure shortages to inadequate staff support, are unacceptable. It is alarming that the learners have missed valuable teaching and learning time due to these administrative failures. The IFP urges the department to address these concerns quite urgently, ensuring that mobile classrooms and specialized learning materials are prioritized. The IFP believes that every child, especially those with special needs, deserves a fully resourced and supportive learning environment. We will monitor the department's response to ensure that Setotolwane learners receive dignity education and future they deserve to become future leaders this country needs. In consideration of the issues we have raised, the IFA accepts this report, and thank you very much.
Thank you. PA?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We implore the Minister of Basic Education to make sure the Limpopo Department of Education considers the following suggestions to improve the learning environment at Setotolwane LSEN Primary School in Mankweng, Limpopo Province, considering the committee's recent oversight visits there. We call for the supply of more beds, hostel rooms, South African Sign Language laboratories, and more classrooms in addition to more support workers such as kitchen and hostel staff. Problems with energy and water must be handled in coordination with the local government, especially when it comes to billing disputes. The persistent problems with separate billing meters for the on-site schools be resolved as a matter of urgency. We support the implementation of a sufficient monitoring system to assess school conditions throughout districts and circuits, guaranteeing that any gaps are adequately filled. The acquisition of specialized teaching and learning aids, such as braille writers and calculators, requires additional financing. To maintain stability within the school leadership, we insist that matters pertaining to the principal and acting principal be resolved as a matter of urgency. And we support the report. Thank you.
Thank you. FF Plus.
Honorable House Chair, the report on the Setotolwane Secondary School for Learners with Special Needs were read by all concerned and especially those who participate in this debate. The question is whether this is an isolated incident or whether it is more widespread. Nou wil ek 'n storieetjie vertel wat eintlik 'n aanduiding gee dat ons hier met 'n probleem sit, dat kinders met spesiale leerbehoeftes nie behandel word soos dit hoort in 'n land waar die regering vir sy mense omgee nie. By die skool vir spesiale kinders met spesiale behoeftes in Bethel, die Jim van Tonner skool, is 'n 11 jaar oue kind, meisiekind, die eerste dag van die skool doodgewoon met die skool vervoerskema in Ewander opgelaai en in Bethal by die skool besorg. Daar was 'n dispuut oor haar skoolgelde van die vorige jaar, of dit al betaal was, en sy is toegang tot die skool geweier. Die skoolbussie het haar doodgewoon 50 km teruggevat na Ewander toe, haar afgelaai waar hulle opgelaai het en met niemand daaroor gekommunikeer nie. Hierdie 11-jarige meisiekind het in Ewander rondgedwaal totdat sy deur iemand by 'n taxi-rank opgemerk is wat toe 'n VF+ raadslid Wilma Venter gebel het om te vra wat hier aangaan en of sy kon help. Hulle kon binne 'n halfuur die oupa wat na haar omsien opspoor deur WhatsApp-groepe en haar met haar gesin herenig. Dit kon egter net soveel slegter verloop het as kommunikasie nie so vinnig was nie. Dit lyk vir my, ons sit hier met 'n probleem dat die behoeftes van leerders met spesiale behoeftes nie op 'n spesiale manier aandag kry nie, behalwe dalk 'n spesiale slegte manier. Baie dankie. Ons ondersteun die verslag.
Thank you. Action essay.
Modulasetulo ke a go leboga ke dumediše maloloko ka moka parlamenteng. Honorable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education's visit to Setotolwane Secondary School for learners with special needs in Mankweng highlights the ongoing crisis in South Africa's schooling system, especially in rural province, which I hail from, the Limpopo province. A lack of proper preparation for the 2025 school year and dilapidated classrooms have created an environment not conducive for learning or teaching. This has led to the suspension of classes for grade 8 pupils given the lack of classrooms that's available for them to use. Honorable Speaker, it is shocking that in the report that we are considering today, that blind learners are expected to sit in completely unhygienic toilets, often filled with feces, which pose a grave risk to the health of these learners. This, whilst the Minister of Basic Education has publicly announced that all pit toilets will be eradicated by March. In a parliamentary reply, it indicates that there are still over 170 schools still dealing with pit toilets. This requires serious intervention by the department, and errant contractors have contributed to this ongoing crisis. As Action SA, we will continue to keep the Minister accountable and ensure the dignity of all scholars. As Action SA, we do not support the report.
Thank you. ACTP.
Honourable House Chairperson, the ACGP is appalled to hear of the negligent attitude towards the most vulnerable children in our nation, the blind and the deaf at Setotolwane Secondary School in Polokwane, Limpopo. Helen Keller, who was born deaf and blind, said, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." The department falls into this category. No vision, empathy, and care for the children of Setotolwane Secondary School. With taps run dry, the school has to rely on water tankers, and when the tankers do not pitch, they have to use water from the graveyard to drink and bath. It is beyond imagination that the department could not complete and connect the borehole long identified as a matter of urgency. Toilets have become clogged, resulting in blind learners having their hands soiled with feces while relieving themselves. In 2016, the Education Department temporarily relocated the school with the mandate to ensure the renovation of the school or the building of a new one. Almost 10 years later, this has not been done. A principal and acting principal at the school are both being paid, and this threatens the stability of the school. Classes are suspended, there are no isolation rooms for sick learners, and grade 8 learners will only commence classes when new mobile classrooms become available, as their present mobile classrooms are dilapidated with holes in the flooring. The ACDP does not support this report, and we say to the department, you have ears and you have eyes. Use them to the benefit and support of those who don't. I thank you.
Thank you. UTM.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. The conditions at Setotolwane Secondary School are far from conducive to effective teaching and learning. Among the issues the school faces are severe infrastructure decay, including clogged toilets, lack of access to tap water, and overall dilapidation of facilities. The UTM calls on the Department of Basic Education to expedite the infrastructure project aimed at addressing the critical challenges facing all 35 special schools in the Limpopo province. Our children deserve an education environment that is not just functional, but one that fosters their potential regardless of their abilities. It is crucial to highlight that the matric class of 2024, one of the top achievers in Limpopo, was an 18-year-old partially blind pupil from Setotolwane. This achievement is especially remarkable given that the pupil wrote the final exams in a classroom with holes on the floor and a ceiling exposing live electrical wires. This raises an important question: how many more students from Setotolwane and other neglected schools could achieve top marks if they didn't have to contend with these ongoing challenges? The immediate infrastructure needs at Setotolwane School are extremely urgent. The school also faces a shortage of teachers. While the ideal ratio for effective learning is 1 to 5, the ratio currently stands at 1 to 15. A research suggests that...
Honorable Member, your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rise.
Thanks, Chairperson. Rise, we support the report, and I yield my time to Bosa so that they use my time. Thanks.
Bosa has been allocated time. So, Bosa.
Honourable members, Bagaetsho Dumelang, I think as our Honourable Member Makashule Ghana would state, that we ought to judge our nation by the way it treats its most vulnerable. When we came into this parliament, we all took an oath to say that we will protect the Constitution. Now, the Constitution of the Republic upholds the right to dignity. You can't help but read that the most vulnerable in our society, the blind, the disabled, cannot go to school because there's no water, and that learners who are blind, in fact, end up having to soil their hands with feces. How else I can say it? We need to look deep in the mirror and say to ourselves, this is woefully unacceptable. So, honourable members, I do support this report. But I want to state that this water crisis is not limited only to the school that has been listed here, Setotolwane. It is an issue that will affect many learners across the country. Now, as an uncle to a niece who has gone through disability, who is still disabled, I shudder to think what freedom will mean for her if she can't go to a school that will provide water. I want to urge, Honourable Minister, that it is hard enough for people to protect teaching time. The best we can do is to make sure that the infrastructure we build in schools is adequate for our learners to go through. So I want to urge us all in this House, when we adopt this report, We must demand an action plan. We must demand that infrastructure must be built. And more than anything, all of those who fail to deliver water to our schools must be charged with the crime because they are violating the Constitution. So I want to say, honorable members, let's not only just celebrate high pass marks or pass rates, let's make sure infrastructure is built for all of our learners. Thank you.
Thank you. ATM. Al-Jama. NCC. PAC. UAT.
Thank you, Chairperson. Khotso, Ma-Afrika. The findings on this report are deeply troubling and expose a systematic failure in the provision of basic education, particularly for our most vulnerable learners, those with special educational needs. The condition of Setotolwane Secondary School are nothing short of national disgrace and a stark reminder that the GNU government continues to neglect its own constitutional obligation to ensure quality education for all. The report revealed a litany of failures: unconscionable delay in relocation of school despite a directive from the Portfolio Committee in 2015, deplorable infrastructure including dilapidated mobile classrooms, clogged ablution facility, and boarding facility that are unfit for human habitation, chronic shortage on basic resources such as water and electricity, forcing learners to rely on water from the graveyard and endure frequent power cuts, suspended classroom for grade 8 learners due to unfinished renovations, depriving them their rights to education, and inadequate support staff, overcrowded hostel, a lack of specialized learning material for blind and deaf learners. These conditions are not just failures of government, they are violation of the rights of these learners and betrayal of the promise for a better life for all. The government had nearly a decade to address these issues, yet it failed to act with the urgency and commitment required. The UAT condemned the strongest term and lack of accountability and political will demonstrated by the Department of Education and the Limpopo provincial government.
Your time is expired.
Kani mambo.
Good. ANC.
Honorable Chairperson, the African National Congress supports the report of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education on the Chairperson's oversight visit to Setotolwane learners with special educational needs secondary school, Mankweng, Limpopo Province. The Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee conducted an oversight visit to Setotolwane Secondary School as part of the committee's mandate to assess the school readiness for the 2025 academic year and its infrastructure. The oversight was undertaken in response to concerns regarding the quality of education, infrastructure challenges, and the overall learning environment at the school. Setotolwane Secondary School, located in Limpopo, is a special needs school catering primarily for blind and deaf learners. The committee chairperson deemed it necessary to engage directly with the school management, the school government body and officials from Limpopo Department of Education to gain first-hand insight into schools' challenges and successes. The oversight visit revealed several critical challenges affecting the school. It observed that the school's infrastructure is deteriorating, with mobile classrooms over 5 years old and holes in the flooring. The poor maintenance of infrastructure suggests a greater need to strengthen resource investment to ensure safe and conducive learning environment. The report also notes that inadequate access to assistive technology for visual impaired learners limits their ability to participate fully in learning activities that dormitory facilities require upgrading to meet the special needs of the learners. Other observations include schools' unclear leadership, which is a concern as it operates under an acting principle due to uncertainties surrounding the appointment or absence of a substantive principle. The committee report presents key recommendations endorsed by the African National Congress, such as ensuring the school receives additional mobile classes, laboratories, and beds. Furthermore, the ANC supports the recommendation for the school to receive additional support staff, such as kitchen staff, hostel staff, and groundsmen. In addition, the Limpopo Department of Education must ensure that the school water and electricity challenges are addressed in cooperation with the local municipality regarding water provision and electricity billing. Further, it is recommended that the provisional department assist the school with additional funding to purchase specialized learning and teaching support materials such as calculators and braille writers. The report recommends that Limpopo Department of Education must urgently intervene to resolve the issue of leadership at the school. Honorable Chairperson, the ANC profoundly appreciates that the School for Learners with Special Needs play a crucial role in ensuring inclusive education in South Africa, and that the ratio of learners to teachers should be reasonable to promote individual attention. The ANC believes these institutions should provide tailored support, specialized resources, and individualized teaching methods that empower learners with special needs to reach their full potential. By fostering an environment of acceptance and equal opportunity, special needs schools contribute to breaking down societal barriers and promoting independence amongst learners. Furthermore, they support the broader goal of an inclusive society by equipping students with essential skills for personal and professional success. Continued investment, policy support, and involvement are essential to strengthening these schools and ensuring that every child, regardless of their ability, has access to quality education. Notable, one of the significant provisions of PELA Act is recognizing South African Sign Language as an official language of learning and teaching in basic education. In this regard, the ANC affirms its unwavering support for this crucial report. We encourage stakeholders involved in basic education to actively collaborate and engage meaningful dialogue to achieve high-performing basic education system. The system must be effectively meet the diverse needs of all South Africans, promoting quality and inclusivity. The ANC remains steadfast in ensuring that all South Africans, regardless of their background, have access to quality education. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I now recognize the Honourable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Chair. I therefore move that the report be adopted.
The motion is that the report be adopted. MK.
MK Party refuses to sell the future of this country and therefore zealously rejects the report.
Action SA.
In good conscience, we cannot accept the report.
Honourable Swart.
The ACDP objects to the report. Thank you.
We can't hear you. Can you move your mic closer? Yes.
The ACDP objects to the report. Thank you.
Thank you. With those objections, the report is then agreed to. Honourable members, with the time allocated for this session, we have reached 12:55. I will now suspend the proceedings until 1400. The bells will be rung to alert members to the resumption of the business. Business is now suspended. Thank you.
Sí.
Just stand at the back there quickly, man. I just want to show you something. Yeah, there we see is. Yeah.
Yes, Brian, can you hear me?
You see, you can't hear properly.
Hi, testing mic 1, C, testing mic 1, C.
You see? So what I'm going to do...
Yes, no. Yes, Brian, can you hear me? You can hardly hear anything. You see? Yes. Now, if you do that, then you get a bounce. But to cater for that bounce, put a speaker there. You see? Yes, Brian, can you hear me? You see. Yes, put that one that side, yes. Yeah, you see. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, yeah. Okay, did you move this?